When a Hollywood studio's masterpiece script vanished, they thought it was corporate espionage. But the truth was far darker. A rival studio had murdered the delivery driver to steal the pages, then killed the writer herself to cover their tracks. 6 months ago, life for me was just about the next case, the next name to hit my desk, my next paycheck. But this time, the trail led me into Hollywood's rotten core. A conspiracy worth killing for. They killed a delivery kid, silenced the source, murdered Maya, the script writer. They thought they could bury the truth, own the script and control the ending. But I have uncovered the evidence. I'm still here, and I am their next target. They're coming for me now. Now it's not about earning that next paycheck. It's not about solving a murder. It's not about making the headlines. It's not about a corrupt Hollywood producer. It's about me seeing my daughter. It's about living another day to tell my mom what I have been ignoring to tell her for 30 years. It's about me not being the headline. It's about staying alive. I don't dare. My name is Ethan Crowe, a private investigator, single dad, and the only surviving child of my mother. And I am being hunted for knowing too much. In Hollywood, reality is deadlier than any script. Here, the most valuable thing isn't an Oscar, it's a story worth killing for, and they killed for it. They'll kill again to keep it buried, but the truth is out there, and someone will pay. Hollywood, city of illusions, where competition is dealt with by the spill of blood. As Aurora Pictures celebrates a wonderfully, perfectly edited script titled Echoes of Tomorrow, their lifeline, their masterpiece, a script written by award-winning writer Maya Volkovs could save the studio, make legends, but whispers of a legendary script makes it a target for Hollywood's predators. In this town, a sure thing is the most dangerous thing to possess. Meet Arthur Finch, Aurora's head of security. He knows the vultures are circling. The script's perfection is its vulnerability. They're not just protecting a movie, they're guarding their future. Every toast is laced with anxiety. In the shadows, rivals watch, ready to steal at any cost. To tomorrow, and the stories that outlive us. Kindly subscribe to our channel and like this video. Let me introduce you to Omega Films, a production house willing to do anything to stay at the top. They are cold, brutal, predatory. Their CEO, Damien Thorne, a savagery figure, surveys LA like a conqueror. His enforcer, Brenner, stands ready, more weapon than man. Damien Thorne doesn't compete. He destroys. His empire is built on stolen ideas, ruined lives. While Arthur Finch believes in the system, contracts, lawyers, order, Damien Thorne plays by no rules. All he lives by is to be the best. His methods: blackmail, espionage, fear. He's Hollywood's boogeyman. Arthur thinks the system will protect him. He's wrong. He rigs the game before it begins. He sees himself not as a player but as the official. Few days earlier, in Arthur's office, while everyone was anticipating the complete script from Maya Volkov, his security chief warns Arthur, "Thorne doesn't compete, he conquers. This isn't rivalry, it's war. Thorne is a criminal. Bribery and blackmail isn't beyond him, he's worse than you think. I wouldn't put murder past him." The warning is clear: move the script with military escort. This is Hollywood, not a war zone. The encrypted courier is foolproof. It isn't. Night falls over Los Angeles, the city glowing beneath a bruised purple sky. Leo, a young courier, rides Mulholland Drive, wind in his hair, city lights below. He was selected to transport the script alone, to keep its route anonymous. But in Hollywood, the weakest link is always human. Suddenly, headlights, too close, too bright, appear in his mirror. Leo ignorantly didn't sense the danger early enough as he was unaware of the value of what he was transporting. A black SUV tails him, relentless and menacing. The SUV rams his bike, causing Leo to lose his control. He's thrown, the precious case flying from his grip. Leo is injured and helplessly on the road, bleeding and confused. Brenner the enforcer steps from the SUV, calm and terrifying. He retrieves the case, then turns to Leo. Brenner looms over the helpless courier. With a stone-cold face, he is executing his boss's plan. The sound is not a gunshot. It is a single brutal impact, a sickening thud echoing in the Hollywood Hills night. The black SUV pulls away, leaving behind a carefully constructed lie. When authorities arrive, they find Leo's body and a wrecked motorcycle. The official story? A tragic accident. But this was Damien Thorne's design, clean, efficient, leaving no threads to pull. Now Thorne and Brenner possess the only copy of Echoes of Tomorrow, but the true threat remains. Maya Volkov, the author. The violence is not over. The next target is the source herself. While in the home office of Maya Volkov, books and research notes are piled high around her, a testament to the brilliant mind that created Echoes of Tomorrow. The house is quiet, isolated. It was her sanctuary for creation, but tonight it feels like a cage. She's on the phone with Arthur Finch, her voice tight with concern. Leo never showed up? Arthur, that's not like him. I have a bad feeling about this. The premonition hangs in the air, a chilling piece of dramatic irony. She hangs up the phone and begins to pace, a nervous energy propelling her back and forth across the room. She runs a hand through her hair, her mind racing through worst-case scenarios. A flat tire? A breakdown? She tries to rationalize, to push away the darker thoughts. Then, her doorbell rings. The sudden chime shatters the silence of the house, making her jump. Her heart pounds. Who would be visiting at this hour? She walks cautiously to her front door and checks the video monitor. On the small screen, she sees a man in an Aurora Pictures security uniform. He looks official, calm. He holds up an ID badge to the camera. Miss Volkov? The man's voice crackles through the intercom. Mr. Finch sent me. There's been a breach. I need to secure your systems. The explanation makes perfect sense. Arthur, worried about the missing script, would naturally take precautions. He would want to ensure her digital files, the original drafts, were safe. It was a logical, responsible step. Trusting the uniform, trusting the story, she disarms her security system and opens the door. It is a fatal mistake born of innocence. The man on her doorstep is not an Aurora Pictures security guard. It's Brenner. He doesn't wait for an invitation. The moment the door is unlocked, he forces his way in, his movements calm and brutally efficient. The door slams shut behind him. Maya stumbles backward, her relief instantly turning to sheer, paralyzing terror. This man is not here to help her. His eyes are cold, empty. He is an intruder, a predator who has breached her defenses with a simple lie. Who are you? What do you want? Her mind struggles to comprehend the situation. This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. She continues to back away, her sanctuary now a trap from which there is no escape. Brenner does not answer. He is not here for conversation. Words are unnecessary for his task. He advances, silent and cold, his steps deliberate. Maya is trapped, her back pressed against a wall of books, knowledge she can't use to save herself. This is not a robbery. This is an execution. Outside, the house glows warm, hiding the truth. A soft, final sound. Silence. Brenner exits, calm, holding a black data drive. Maya, the author, is no more. The story is stolen. Damien Thorne's conquest is complete. The polished world of Arthur Finch has shattered. We find him in his once sunny office, but now the room is filled with shadows. He is no longer the confident, idealistic studio head. He is a disheveled, frantic man, his eyes wild with a mixture of grief and rage. Arthur Finch remembers the warning of his chief security officer and spoke to the detectives in his office. "Don't you see? The courier and my writer, 2 days apart? It's Thorne. He has my script." He lays out the sequence of events, a chain of tragedy that to him is an undeniable pattern of conspiracy, but the detectives remain unmoved. "Mr. Finch, with all due respect, we have no evidence linking these two incidents." He dismisses Arthur's fears with practiced ease, his tone condescending. He has already decided on the narrative, and Arthur's version is an inconvenience he will not entertain. Leo's was a tragic accident. Ms. Volkov's, a random break-in. This city is full of them. He paints a picture of random urban chaos, a world where terrible things happen for no reason. He frames Arthur not as a victim, but as a man unhinged by tragedy. You're a grieving man seeing ghosts. He and Miller are not here to investigate a crime. They are here to control the story, to ensure the official version, the one that protects Damien Thorne, is the only one that is told. That's when Arthur hired me. He had hit a wall of institutional corruption, a blue wall that protected the powerful. He realized the police were not his allies. They were part of the conspiracy. He was no longer trying to save his movie. The script was a lost cause. He was now on a different quest, a more dangerous one. He was trying to expose a murder. And in his desperation, he turned to me, a private investigator. He needed someone outside the system. He needed someone to find the truth. And I walked right into the spider's web. My investigation began in the shadows, far from Hollywood's polished offices. The system was compromised, so I worked outside it. I met a terrified Aurora employee in a grimy, anonymous diner. Words were too dangerous. He slid a trembling hand with a napkin across the table. Inside, Terminal Street. That warehouse wasn't for storage. It was where problems disappeared. Outside, a black SUV waited in the shadows. Brenner's eyes were everywhere. I could walk away, or step into the trap, and hope I was smart enough to survive. Terminal Street was a desolate, industrial wasteland. The warehouse was a vast, cavernous structure of rusting corrugated metal. It was a place at the edge of the city where screams would go unheard. I slipped inside through a broken fence, my flashlight cutting through the darkness. The place was a maze of shipping containers. I moved cautiously, my senses on high alert. On the dusty concrete floor, I found a piece of evidence. A discarded Aurora Pictures ID badge. A stained piece of fabric, possibly from a uniform. I was getting close to something. I could feel it. Suddenly the entire warehouse was blasted with blinding light. Massive floodlights flickered on, turning the darkness into a harsh, artificial day. I was exposed, a lone figure in a vast, empty space. A voice echoed from unseen speakers surrounding me. "I admire your persistence, Crowe," the voice boomed. It was Brenner. He was here, watching me. But this is the final chapter. The theatricality was unnerving. This wasn't just a hit. It was a performance. A show of force designed to terrorize before the kill. From the shadows, figures emerged. A half-dozen men, all in dark tactical gear, moved with predatory confidence. They began to spread out, cutting off all escape routes. It was a classic pincer movement, a well-rehearsed hunt. A tense game of cat and mouse began. I darted between the containers, using the maze as cover. They were professionals, methodically closing the net. I was cornered behind a stack of pallets and one of them got too close. A punch slammed into my gut, knocking the wind out of me. I fought back dirty, with the desperation of a cornered animal. I wasn't trying to win, I was trying to survive. I grabbed a steel pipe and swung it, disarming him. The brief opening was all I needed. I scrambled up a stack of crates, heading for a high, broken window. As I clawed my way towards it, gunfire erupted behind me. Bullets ripped through the thin metal walls, the impacts like a deadly drumbeat. I threw myself through the broken window, falling 10 feet to the gravel outside, escaping just as they closed in. He leaned back, the threat hanging in the air like poison gas. He was right. I knew he was. In a corrupt system, innocence is not a defense. It is a liability. I was trapped. To stay would mean certain death, either quick and violent or slow and soul-crushing. My only option was to run. I had to become a fugitive. Confess, and you might see sunlight again in 20 years. Fight this, and you'll have a tragic accident in your cell before dawn. Your choice. He laid out the fabricated narrative with chilling detail. They had created a story, a fiction as complete as any Hollywood script, and I was the villain. They had the power of the state behind them, the ability to manufacture evidence, to coerce witnesses, to write the official record. I was a private investigator with a history of bending the rules. I was the perfect scapegoat. Your prints are all over it. You were stalking her. She rejected your advances. It's an open and shut case. I didn't get far. My escape from the warehouse was temporary. The next day, my world collapsed completely. My apartment door was kicked in, not by Brenner's thugs, but by the LAPD. Detectives Reyes and Miller, the same two who had dismissed Arthur Finch, dragged a beaten and bruised me into a sterile interrogation room. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, mocking me. They were not subtle. There was no pretense of an investigation this time. This was an exercise in power. They had me where they wanted me, and they were going to make sure I understood the new rules of the game. My role as the hunter was over. I was now the prey. Detective Miller, the weary one, slammed a plastic evidence bag onto the metal table between us. The sound echoed in the small room. "We found this in your car, Crowe," he said, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. Inside the bag was a handgun. It wasn't just any gun. I recognized it from the case files. It was the gun used to kill Maya Volkov. My heart sank. This was their move. This was how they were going to neutralize me. They weren't just going to kill me. They were going to erase my credibility, destroy my name, and use me to close the very case I was trying to solve. I needed help. As a fugitive from a corrupt police force, my resources were gone. My name was poison. My face was a liability. There was only one person I could turn to, someone who lived even further off the grid than I did. Her name was Chloe. She was a brilliant hacker, a digital ghost who operated out of a hidden basement filled with a chaotic network of servers and monitors. I found her lair, a technological womb hidden beneath an unassuming laundromat. When she saw my bruised face and the desperation in my eyes, she knew I was in deep trouble. "You're hot, Ethan. The whole LAPD is looking for you," I didn't have time to explain everything. She already knew the system was rotten. I need you to do one last thing, I pleaded, my voice urgent. This is it, Chloe. The end game. I told her about Omega Films, about Damien Thorne, and about the murders. I explained that the proof, the real evidence that could burn them all to the ground, wasn't in a warehouse or a file cabinet. It was digital. It was hidden deep within Omega's offshore server network, a heavily encrypted node they called Cerberus. The proof is there. The bank transfers, the internal memos, the original security files from the warehouse. Everything. This is heavy duty. Thorne paid a fortune for this setup. As she worked, a familiar sound began to echo from the street above. The distant wail of police sirens, getting closer. They had tracked me. Time was running out. The sirens grew louder, closer, a countdown to my capture. Almost. Got it. Downloading now. Go, Ethan, go. She had breached the final wall. The data began to flow, a torrent of damning information downloading onto a single encrypted hard drive. She shoved the drive into my hand. Just as I grabbed it, the basement door at the top of the stairs was smashed in with a heavy ram. I didn't look back. I escaped through a hidden back tunnel as Chloe was apprehended, sacrificing her own freedom to give me one last chance to expose the truth. The city of Los Angeles becomes a blur of neon and terror. This is the chase from the cold open, but now we see it from a wider, more chaotic perspective. My sedan, a battered and bruised shell of what it once was, is a wounded animal running from a pack of predators. Smoke pours from the hood, a black plume against the garish city lights. I am boxed in. Two massive black SUVs, the signature vehicles of Brenner's hunters, flank me on either side. Behind me, a police cruiser, its lights flashing not as a symbol of rescue but of corrupted enforcement, closes the gap. They are herding me, controlling my path, pushing me towards a predetermined end. This is not a pursuit, it is a rolling execution. The impacts are relentless. They ram my car repeatedly, the sickening crunch of metal on metal, a brutal symphony of destruction. First the rear, then the side, then the other side. Each jolt rattles my bones and sends fresh waves of pain through my battered body. The car lurches violently, the steering wheel fighting against my grip. But I am not done yet. Fueled by adrenaline and a desperate burning need to see this through, I weave through the late-night traffic. My driving is no longer just skilled, it is a frantic dance with death. I swerve into oncoming lanes, clip the edges of parked cars, and use the urban chaos as my only shield against their coordinated assault. My mind races, searching for an exit, a final move. I know I cannot outrun them. The car is failing, my body is failing. I am losing blood, and my vision begins to tunnel. They will corner me, drag me from the wreck, and finish the job in some dark alley where no one will see. The hard drive in my pocket feels impossibly heavy, a weight of responsibility for Maya, for Leo, for Arthur, for Chloe. I cannot let it be for nothing. I grab my burner phone, my hand slick with a mixture of blood and sweat. With trembling fingers I dial the one number I have left, a final Hail Mary in a game I am about to lose. The call connects. Jenna, it's Ethan. Listen to me. I'm not going to make it. I'm sending a data packet to your server at the Times. It's the biggest story of your career. Publish everything. Don't wait for me. The time for running is over. Now, it is a race against my own demise. While steering with one hand, I grab the precious hard drive Chloe gave me. My fingers fumble with the USB port on my laptop. The connection is made. With a click of the trackpad, I initiate the upload. A progress bar appears on the cracked screen. 10%, 25%, 35%. The hunters sense the shift in my tactics. They see the glow of the laptop screen. They realize what I am doing. Their assault intensifies. They are no longer trying to disable my car, they are trying to obliterate it. The SUVs close in, their massive frames pinning me between them. The police car behind me accelerates, preparing for a final, decisive pit maneuver. The upload progress bar creeps forward. It is a digital lifeline, a race between bandwidth and brute force. I can feel the car beginning to fail completely, the engine sputtering its last gasps. I am a sitting duck. My fate now tied entirely to the speed of a data transfer. Then comes the final, massive impact. Brenner's SUV slams into my rear quarter panel with apocalyptic force. The world spins. The screech of tortured metal is the only sound I can hear. My car is sent careening out of control, a piece of shrapnel in their war. It hurtles through a flimsy traffic barrier, leaving the main road entirely. Time seems to slow down. I see a crowded, neon-lit shopping district, a pedestrian plaza filled with tourists and late-night shoppers. Their faces turn towards me, expressions of shock and horror. My car plows through decorative planters and benches, finally coming to a violent, shuddering stop against a large, ornate fountain. Water erupts from the broken fountain, cascading over my shattered windshield. The world is suddenly, eerily silent, save for the hiss of steam and the distant screams of panicked onlookers. My eyes focus on one last thing. The laptop screen. The green bar is full. 100%. Upload complete. A wave of profound relief washes over me, momentarily eclipsing the searing pain. I did it. The story is out. It can no longer be contained or buried. In the rearview mirror, I see the pursuing vehicles, the SUVs and the corrupt police cruiser, screeching to a halt at the edge of the plaza. Seeing the crowds, the chaos, and the dozens of phone cameras now pointed in their direction, they have no choice. They reverse and flee, melting back into the darkness. My car door groans open. I stumble out, blood clouding my vision, clutching the hard drive. The plaza's lights feel like spotlights. This is my final scene. The crowd is my only protection. The hunters are gone, but my strength is fading. I collapse, the world spinning, sirens fading. I fought to expose a story. Now, I am the story, captured by 1,000 cameras, fading into the light. The screen flickers to life, not with violence, but with the cold glow of television news. My data packet detonates in the media, exposing Omega Films and its conspirators. Federal agents raid Omega Films. The empire falls, live on TV. Months later, I stand in a quiet cemetery, no longer running or bleeding. 2 simple graves before me, Maya and Leo. I survived, but the cost was immense. I leave Maya's script, retitled The Final Draft. The story didn't survive, but I did.